I'm Rob Shields, and this is Peace Talks, the podcast that covers everything to do with competitive jigsaw puzzling. The 2025 World Jigsaw Puzzle Championship took place over 7 days in Valladolid, Spain. When beacon of the puzzling community, E.B. Karen, and I decided to follow up with a couple of past guests, we thought we'd be able to string together a few short interviews into a single wrap-up episode. Unfortunately, short interview is something we are apparently not capable of, so rather than giving you one 5-hour episode, we're releasing many of our conversations as their own episodes as fast as I can put them together. I hope you enjoy. When we talked to Wiktor Kacprzak for the Polish Powerhouse episode, we didn't get enough time with him, so we were determined not to make that mistake following up with him after Worlds. Here's our conversation with him, recorded over 2 different days. Welcome, Wiktor, to Peace Talks. Welcome back. It is so great to see you.
Hi, thank you for having me again. I really wanted to go back here at some point, and I'm very happy that I managed to do it so fast.
Speaking of so fast, you had what seemed like a pretty incredible week at Worlds. And I want to talk about some of the highlights of the things that happened. But I know that sort of leading up to Worlds, you are an extremely thoughtful person. You put in a lot of practice. I would love to hear a little bit more about how the final weeks leading up to Worlds were like for you in terms of preparation for this event.
I'm this kind of person that trains actually almost every day and for a year. So my training didn't really change that much in terms of the ways that I use. But for the last, I think, a week or 2 weeks before Worlds, I decided I don't want to do actually speed runs anymore because I wanted to have my head, clean. And also, I only bought one online competition for September and only one for October because I wanted, to be off.
Mm-hmm.
And the only thing that I did during the last weeks before Worlds, I was training the Kristen style. I think I did like 7 puzzles with Kristen style from 2022. And this was my preparation for Worlds because I wanted to use Kristen style in the first preliminary round of the individual category. And it didn't really work out, but I think we'll get to that.
Well, so tell me why you would want to use Kristen's style, especially this is the out-of-the-box one-at-a-time style that she premiered at her first Worlds?
Yeah, exactly that one. And I wanted to do that because when I think about speed puzzling and that exact event, I think about Kristen and about Alejandro. And I was very sad that Kristen wouldn't be able to come this year because I wanted to do some puzzles with her for the first time and it didn't work out and I was very sad. And I came up with this idea that I would really love to pay homage to Kristen and to send her, this message that we are thinking about you and I'm going to do it this way, your way. Yeah, the only thing I said to myself and also to people that knew about this was that I will do that for sure unless we get any of the postcards or the Hello vinyl that I got the sub 20 on. Because I also was having this inner battle that, okay, I really want to do the Kristen style, but also if there is an easy puzzle, I really want to have the new record too. And I didn't know what to do. And then I was like, okay, let's just choose puzzles that I want to do that with and narrow it to a small amount. So it was only the 4. I mean, I think I could have beaten the record with different puzzles as well, but I was like, okay, no, we have to have some boundaries.
So backing up, it sounds like you were very prepared, like so prepared that you could kind of create a new fun challenge for yourself in the weeks leading up.
Exactly. I was actually talking with Kristen about my feelings and stress and the thoughts that are in my head before Worlds, because I kind of started relating to Kristen in many ways, especially after listening to your podcast episode with her, which I did like 2 weeks before Worlds because I wanted to have something, to be busy with my head.
Mhm.
And I listened to all the episodes that I haven't listened before because I think that at the time of recording our episode, I only listened to one. Oh no, actually two, three. Sorry, three. And it was not one of the Katy episode or Kristen episode. Those were left for later, and then I had the time. And Kristen said so many things that really, really resonated with me on so many different levels about the pressure, about the training, about the possibility to to win, and how to manage that, and the feelings about how we feel about different puzzles if they show up. What would we want to see show up in the final? And so many different things. And I decided to write to Kristen and to talk to her, and it was very nice. I'm very happy that she replied, and we had a very honest conversation together. And also, after coming up with this idea, I decided that I need to ask Kristen if she's okay with that, because I realized that, okay, Kristen is not coming and she didn't really specify the, you know, in depth what the reasons are. And maybe she doesn't want to have the attention on her, even though she's not there. And so I decided to write to her, but she gladly agreed, and I was very happy. And then, and then I didn't use the style, and that is so embarrassing.
Well, I love that you had that ready, though. Like, I love that you were very thoughtful about both what is tactically the right times to use this. Like, you have different goals, so you're like, okay, well, if certain things happen, I'm going to do this, but if they don't, then I'm going to do this other thing. But also thoughtful in reaching out and making sure that Kristen was on board, aware that if she saw this, that it was meant as a tribute. I love that you put so much thought into how you approach every aspect of puzzling.
And I also have to say, this time was very hard. As many puzzles as I did with it, I was still amazed, and I still am. I think I did the archaeologics desk 3 times in this style, and I was still 3 minutes behind Kristen's time that she posted like last year, because she was like, "Oh, I came back to my original style," and then she did like 28 minutes.
Wow.
But still, for a style that you're not familiar with, 3 minutes away seems like a pretty great accomplishment, actually.
I mean, the first try wasn't 3 minutes away.
Yeah, fair enough.
It sounds like this was also a good way to keep your mind busy at a time where you were feeling building pressure. And that also Peace Talks kept your mind busy.
Yeah, those episodes were great. I listened to all of them.
I love those 2 episodes of Kati and Kristen talking about their world's experiences. And I hope that this, interview will, in the future, someone will be listening to and it'll have that same impact on them.
Agreed. And so let's talk a little bit about the pressure you were feeling, because you're suggesting that there was sort of mounting things going on in your head. I can imagine there was a lot of expectations. People are expecting good things of you. You've had very visible success this last year. You've improved what was already a great puzzling capability into like an amazing puzzling capability. I can imagine you thinking about other people knowing, about you as being adding pressure to yourself going into this competition. Is that the kind of thing that when you were thinking about what resonated with you from Kristen's episode that was on your mind?
This was one of the things that actually wasn't very similar between us, because my reaction to other people's, expectations is kind of almost non-existent. And I really like the fact that I don't have the pressure from others, but I have a lot of pressure from myself. Not necessarily, yeah, because this is very strange. I am not, pressuring myself to do well. I am pressuring myself to not do bad.
Right. We've had some guests on who've talked about it. Like Kelly Walter comes to mind, where she's talking about doing the best version of that puzzle. whether or not it is the best time on that puzzle. Is that sort of what you mean? Like you want to have a execution that has no flaws in it, or is it something else?
I don't know. This is because this is not really puzzle related. I think this is more of a, like a mental thing for me because I remember the last month before Worlds, I had speed puzzling nightmares at night. I was dreaming about showing up to the competition and doing a puzzle and being done with the puzzle and being so happy that I didn't hear anyone clap. And then I look up and there's no one in the room.
Oh my goodness.
And so many different nightmares like this. Maybe this is not like a nightmare, true nightmare, but it was unsettling.
I've heard other people get speed puzzling nightmares.
Yeah, so this is the one factor that I had. And also I thought that I wouldn't feel bad about not winning, but also I would feel really bad if I fumbled at some point because of my own fault. And I was stressing about doing mistakes more than about, you know, how it could go. It's very hard to explain. I was just stressing a lot that I was actually afraid of my own mental, that what would happen if, for example, let's say I again was 20th in the final, what would be my reaction? And I kind of started postponing this spot, trying to bury it very, very deep, to not think about it because I was scared of what the reaction would be. And I am really, really happy and thankful to the speed puzzling gods that I don't have to think about it now for quite some time. And I know that this is a very bad thought to have. And I am trying to start to work on that. And I'm actually considering and planning to go to a therapist.
The thing that continues to astound me every time is how world-class competitors who do amazing work and in a lot of cases look like stoic rocks when they're competing have a lot of things going on in their heads that are whispering doubts about how good they could be, where they could mess up.
The episode with Kristen, what stands out to me was her story about touching the bag. And like, it wasn't even a puzzling mistake. She touched the bag before when they were telling you not to touch the bag. And she just couldn't stop ruminating about that, like throughout that entire preliminary round. I think puzzlers can be warriors like that. I think some puzzlers come to puzzling because it's a good way to keep their brains occupied and to turn off their thoughts. But then when you're at the highest level of competition, it's hard to just get in the zone and turn off those thoughts. But I know Kati has talked about her experience in therapy too, and how that has not only helped her as a person, but also had an impact on how she approaches competitions and deals with the stress.
Yes. And while listening to Kathy's episode, I was thinking about what, if there are any similarities with the things that she mentioned about the stress and, the pressure to do well at competitions. And I think that it is quite different in our instances because for me, I don't have like this thought in my head that if I do badly, then there's something wrong with me. It's just the fact that there is this culmination point of worlds or Europeans or Polish championships, right? And if you train so much like I do, and then you show up at this competition and you don't do well, and you don't see the effects of the training you did, and you know this is kind of wasteful. And I think I would have felt this inner rage about the wastefulness of my time and effort. And I would be sad that despite all of that, I am still not able to do the things that I trained for. And this is depressing for me. I don't think I would have felt like I'm not a good speed puzzler or something, because I know I am, but I would be so angry with myself that I think this is very destructive thinking.
Yeah, I mean, from what you told us before in the Polish Powerhouse episode, you are more motivated by the results than by the puzzles. And so it makes sense that the results really matter to you. You're motivated by seeing your results and seeing your times get lower. And so to be working for a whole year, really, with this as the end goal, and then to envision the possibility that you wouldn't see that big result, that all these little accomplishments and results have been leading up for. Yeah, that makes sense that that's a big stressor looming over you.
And I also kind of experienced a very small version of that during last year's Worlds, in my individual semifinal, because back then it was not as extreme as it is now, but I had the same thought during the puzzling process, that I am doing so bad on this puzzle that showed up. It was the flower jungle.
Mm.
And I am not able to do the things that I am used to doing at home and on the online competitions and everything. And I was so stuck in my head that it's like I am embarrassing myself in front of myself, not in front of other people, but like, why is it happening to me? And yeah, I was very, very sad and angry after the semifinal, despite, being 20th in the semifinal is not bad by any means. But for me, it was, why did I get such a not appropriate for my then skill set time? And I think this experience showed me what could happen if I let this happen again. And that scared me very much before Worlds this year.
So when you sat down for your first individual round B in this case, how much of that were you able to banish? Like, what's going through your head as you sit down? Are you in control? Is that all in the back of your mind? Or are you having to actively fight it in real time?
Before the finals, the rest doesn't really matter to me, because I know that I will be able to go to the finals no matter what I get. And so I don't have this factor in me. So that's what I did much better time-wise before the final, because I was stressing like at zero level. I was like, okay, no matter what I get, I go through. Probably I'll be very, near the top of the list anyway. And I can just have fun with the puzzle that I get and, try to see if I am able to do it as fast as, at my home or not. And yeah, apparently in the preliminary round and the semifinal, it worked out.
After seeing the puzzles in round A, what was the likelihood you thought you would get a postcard puzzle in your round?
In the first round, they had two puzzles that weren't used at Worlds before. And so when I saw, because the Lake Como was quite old, and I don't remember the circle one, but it was, I think, not the new one, but the old one. I think it was the cakes, right?
Yeah.
So the cakes are also in the oldest line of the circles. And I was like, okay, so we are getting that old puzzles. And in some way, I was relieved that this is the decision I made, because that way more people are more likely to see a puzzle that they done before, if it's not the new releases. But at the same time, I was like, okay, so we can get the postcard then, but I also kind of hope we don't. I was, actually the only thing that was stressing me out before my preliminary round was that I get a puzzle from those four that I mentioned, because I
Mhm.
didn't want to do them.
So you open the bag, the postcard staring back at you. Now you've got to change of plans because this is one of the, as you said, it's one of the few things where you're like, if this shows up, I'm just going to push as hard as I can to head towards a record. I imagine maybe you were slightly disappointed, but were you excited to see that puzzle at all?
No. I hated seeing that puzzle. I was so angry at the organizers that I see the postcard laying in front of me. I was like, why is it here? I don't like it. But also, it wasn't the first puzzle that I saw in the bag. The first one I saw was the circle, the candy one. And I was so happy because I was like, oh, this is very nice. This is very sortable. I can do it like Kristen Styles. It was perfect. And then because I only saw the circle is like bigger, right? And it was on top of the other one. So I only saw this one. And other people in the room saw the postcard first. And I heard this, whoa, in the room.
I heard that too, yeah.
And I was like, okay, what is the next puzzle? And then I saw the postcard and I was like, oh my God. I guess I have to do the postcard now. And I was very, very upset. But then again, I think my hands started shaking because of the postcard, because I was both angry and stressed that I now have to do that puzzle despite I don't have to, don't want to, and then also have to do it as fast as I can and try to, not be as far behind from what I usually do with the puzzle. And my hands were shaking the whole time. Not even in the first, flip and things. My hands were shaking so much that I couldn't manage the pieces. And when I was done and I, took the hands out of the table, they were still shaking. And I was like, calm down.
It's over. We're done.
Were your hands shaking the entire time?
Entire time, yeah.
Wow.
It was like for the first time in my life that my hands were shaking the whole time. They always shake like around the flip, and then it's okay-ish. But that time was like, I cannot do that.
How much faster do you think you would have gone if your hands weren't shaking?
I don't know. Maybe the shaking kind of kept me focused on the puzzle and trying to be very precise with putting them in to, to not dance around the hole. But I don't know. I was very surprised with how it went when I saw the time. If you look at the live stream, you can see that I am kind of, very emotional, but it looks like I am kind of crying, but I'm laughing so hard because I look at the screen with the time and I'm like, huh? Like, how did I manage to go so fast with this puzzle despite not doing it for a very long time? And also, the last time I did this puzzle was for Speed Puzzle Pals event. And then I did it like 3 or 4 times in a row. And I managed to go to like 23. And then we got the puzzle in the French marathon in like this side competition for individuals. And then I did like 24. And I was like, oh, 24, very nice. It is my first time in the competition. And then I get the 22. And like, how did I manage to beat my PB on this puzzle while shaking so much? I don't know. To this day, I have no idea. The timer must have been faulty.
Yeah, I'm sure that's the case. You had sort of a stress dump right at the beginning of that puzzle. Sounds like the residuals of that carried through the entire time. Was that just a physical reaction, or were you still sort of having chatter in your head as you were puzzling, or were you really just focused on okay, here's the task, I'm going to do the task?
Actually, the whole time I was thinking, I would love to do the candies. And I was just so angry the whole time that I cannot do the candies.
So puzzling angry may be the key to your success.
Probably, yeah. I always say to people that my secret to speed puzzling is that I have to have something else going on in my brain. Either it's lack of sleep, or I ate too much or too little, or I'm angry at something, or I'm listening to someone talking about something and I am having a conversation with them. This is the way that I get the fastest times always. Because if I focus too much on puzzling, it's kind of, I tend to overcomplicate things in my head.
Yeah.
And when I go on the, autopilot, it's so much faster.
Yeah, it's like you hear stories of people who, like professional golfers, who work really hard on getting their golf swing going, and then they start just thinking too much about how it works and the mechanics of it, and then now they're not able to do it as well as usual. So you're saying, like, you just need to sort of divorce your brain from the task at hand, like your thinking brain, because the action part of your brain knows what to do, and as long as you don't get in its way, because you practiced so much and so hard,
Yeah.
it'll execute well for you.
Yeah, I think this is the reason, because I want to be able to do it like a year ago, right? And now, because of the training, as you mentioned, I think I just learned my brain to be able to do puzzles so well that if I just let it do its job, it's going to do its job. And if I try to intervene with thinking, then it's not going to do its job as well.
Yeah, I often think about this related to driving, where when you first learn to drive, you're thinking about all the things all the time. And then over time, parts of it just become automatic. So your brain
Mhm.
can sort of do other things. And you've put so many things into your automatic capabilities, right? That if you could just get out of its way, it's the case where, like, I don't know if you've ever gotten in a car and suddenly you're at the destination. You don't really remember how you got there because all of that process of driving is so subconscious, right? This feels like that a version of that for you in puzzling.
Yeah, I think this is very similar.
When you finished that puzzle, you were a little surprised by the extra time that you hit, it sounds like.
Yes.
I want to take just a moment, and this won't be the last time, to sort of fangirl a little over you for a second. The time that you had there, you probably know this, it was a fast round. Almost everybody chose the New York postcard because in a lot of ways, it would be a slower choice for most people to choose the other one because everybody's familiar with the New York postcard. You know, they can knock it out. So it was a fast round. We were talking with Kati earlier, and we were talking about comparing the person who finishes time to the median or average time of a person in that round. And I was telling her, we were sharing that other people did well in rounds, like Alejandro. He was like about 1.9 times faster than the middle puzzler in his round. And that's fairly typical about the difference between the middleist puzzler and the top puzzler. You were 2.5 times faster than the middleist puzzler. So in a round that was already a fast round where a lot of people knew the puzzle, and so everybody had the chance to perform at their best, you, relative to everybody else, just destroyed the competition. I want to make sure that people really understand that, yeah, it was a fast puzzle, and yeah, Victor's a fast competitor, but relative to an opportunity where everybody could have been as fast as possible, you took it to several new levels, and it was just impressive to watch.
Thank you.
Yeah, there's not much you can say after I'm just fangirling over you like that. So,
I don't know what to say.
So we'll move on. So when you got to the semis round, though, potentially unreleased puzzle, something that you hadn't seen before, what were you thinking at that point? Is it still pretty relaxed? Now you don't have any expectations around how you do with this puzzle, like you're not trying to beat a record necessarily. So what were you thinking in this puzzle?
I wasn't thinking in terms of beating the record at any point. I mean, in the first round, yes, but before the semifinal, I was kind of chilling. And I was like, okay, I think the puzzle that I get will be probably something both. What I mean is like both some kind of busy and maybe some blocks of color and maybe some gradient. And that will be perfect. And if I don't get that, then okay. I just don't want to get like the blocks of colors, pure blocks of colors in the final. And so if it appears now, then okay. But it didn't. I mean, it appeared in the second semifinal, so I was happy that I wasn't there. But then again, I have to mention that during the competition, I was struggling with my health a lot. A lot.
That's a theme we're hearing.
I had a fever. I was coughing. At some point, it was on Friday. I lost my voice entirely, and that was a journey on its own. But on that day, it was Wednesday, I felt that the heat that was in the dome is unbearable for me. I am a winter person by a lot, and for me, like 20 degrees Celsius for Europeans, that is like the maximum temperature that I am able to handle. And in the dome, we had 40. So it was interesting. And the only thing that was stressing me out was the heat, because while sitting there, I was already wet everywhere. And I knew that it would be difficult for me to focus on the puzzle,
Mm.
and also probably difficult to finish, because if the heat keeps on going, then I probably just give up mentally, because
Mm.
I am not able to, to continue. And this is what actually happened. I mean, I didn't give up, but the whole time I was doing the puzzle, I was feeling like I am about to cry, because I am just so intensely abrupted by the temperature that it's just I'm struggling mentally and physically so much that I had this outburst of emotions always in my head that I'm about to cry right now. And during the puzzle, I was so hot that my sweat was dripping from my face on top of the pieces. My pieces
Mhm.
were wet. I had a puddle of sweat on my table. But coming back to the puzzle, the thing was that we had this 1 minute time frame for seeing the image and opening the bag. So once I opened the stickers, I just sat there and was looking at the box, and I was very happy with the puzzle, because the blocks of colors were small, unique, and the rest was busy and had flowers. And I was like, yes, flowers. And also the edge was kind of nice, but the edge was the whole journey on its own, because I took up the edge from the main pile and then I did some sorting. I think I started puzzling at maybe 4 minutes, because I was sorting so much. And then I started to do the sorted piles, and then I was like, hey, let's do the edge. And then I kind of missed the edge. Like the pieces that I sorted for the edge went missing and I couldn't find them anywhere. And I was like, what? I cannot do the edge without the pieces, and I don't see the pieces, so I just continued doing some different things. And I was finding the pieces in random spots, like exactly when I left them, but I was unable to see them on the table for some reason.
Interesting.
Yeah, I think I just had like, I don't know, maybe it was because of the heat. Yeah, and also in that round, I had, I think, the fastest flip and edge pull or frame pull. I don't know how it's called.
Mhm.
The time was so fast. Like it was my best time in competition ever. I looked at the live stream because I also remembered that I looked at the timer during the flipping, because I was like, okay, I'm done. And I just looked at the timer and I saw 2:21. And I was like, whoa, that's a noise.
Yeah. And just to give people some context, what does a usual flip and sort for you first pass look like?
Usually it's around 2:35 or 2:40.
Mhm.
And my best time is 2:10, but it was like, it was an outlier. And now this one is also an outlier.
Now, do you think that you talked earlier about having when your brain is fully engaged in being angry about something or otherwise focused on some non-puzzling thing, it helps you go faster. Do you think that the heat may have contributed, like your concerns about the heat in the room, like you're feeling like at any moment you're gonna either collapse or burst into tears? Do you think that that was keeping your brain occupied such that the rest of you could do well in this puzzle?
I think the intensity of keeping my mind away was too much.
Yeah, for
Like
sure.
the threshold was broken. And yeah, I think I was slowed down because of the heat for sure.
You've trained for so much, probably not something you consider training for,
Yeah.
like extreme heat.
I mean, we had that in the Europeans. It was extremely hot as well, but it was 30, not 40.
For the folks who are Fahrenheit focused, that's over 100 degrees. And we were looking around at there were like little humidity indicators on some of the fans, and I couldn't tell if that was the humidity of the fans, but they were reading 80%. So you can imagine 100 degrees plus 80% humidity. I mean, you should be doing some practices in saunas.
Yeah. I should go back to Finnish nationals next year.
Maybe it's a new speed puzzling event.
Yeah.
So when you came to the end of that puzzle, you looked up, you saw your time. What were you thinking?
surprise,
Yeah.
a very big surprise, because as I said, my head was occupied with the heat, so I kind of felt like I'm doing it very slowly. As for the puzzle it was, I know I can do this puzzle much faster, and I was like, okay, what is my time? 35, 36, and then I look up and it's 29, and I was like,
So you had no
okay,
idea that you were moving fast.
no idea. And also at the very end, I struggled with the blue kimonos a lot. Despite you cannot see that in the live stream, but in my head, I was like, I cannot put them together. I cannot put them together. And like my hands were putting them together, but my brain wasn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, you need to find a way just not to bring your brain to the competition, because it seems like the rest
Yeah,
of you knows what to do.
exactly.
And I believe that is a record for an unpublished puzzle in the world's competition. So congratulations again. One of the many places where I'm like, Wiktor, he's just an amazing puzzler. Any thoughts on that? I know you weren't going for any kind of record, but it must have felt satisfying to see that time at
Yes,
the end.
it was very satisfying because in August I did so many different new puzzles from borrowed from Kiara and Kati when we met in the Kati's 10-hour solo marathon. And I had some sub 30s on first tries with those, but those were very easy puzzles specifically. And and I was like, okay, I can do it now very, quite frequently, apparently. So that would be fun to maybe try to do that. But it was like one a second thought and like 3 weeks before Worlds. And when it happened, I was so happy that actually I showed people that it's possible. But
Yeah.
then again, I have to mention that it is not the world record; it's world's record,
Yes, correct.
because Martje from Netherlands did 27 at their nationals with Jan van Hasten puzzles, and yeah, she needs to
Yeah.
be mentioned.
Yes. No, thank you for doing that. You're 100% correct. And it was a fast puzzle in general, but seeing a sub 30 on a new puzzle is always thrilling, in my opinion. So it was great to see that. All right, so coming into the finals, another unpublished puzzle. What did you think of this one?
I didn't like this one. Very much so. I'm not a fan. I didn't like it. I think this puzzle is my nemesis in many ways, because I am trained to be able to see textures and to
Mm.
to do the correct decisions and to maybe not improve, but to work on top of those decisions to be faster and faster. And with that puzzle, it was truly only a labor work. Like, you just had to put the pieces together. There was nothing to discover in this puzzle, nothing to think, okay, if I do this, then maybe the next thing would be faster. No, you just had to do every single thing like separately. And it was so frustrating to do, not only because it was very boring and unexciting, but also because I knew that I'm going slowly with the things. And, I am not a blocks of color person. And that puzzle
Mm.
was actually only that. So, yeah, I was not happy with the puzzle.
How is your illness at that point in the competition?
By then it was okay. It started retrieving. We were joking with Veronica that during the semifinal pairs, we are sitting next to each other with Natalia and with Anya, because I was like, okay, so Veronica and we have fevers. So Natalia and Anya, you have to carry us with this puzzle.
Yeah, that was a really exciting semifinal, right? Like the you two you two pairs were at the top, and I was like, "Oh, could this be a new Polish team?" Like,
We'll see how it goes. They have a really good team too.
yeah, that's true. But super strong performance from Poland in that, well, in the individual final, which I guess we should get back to, but also that pair semifinal.
So that puzzle was a slog. You just had to work it the entire time, the individual's
Yes.
puzzle. You get close to the end, let's say maybe 40, 50 pieces out. How are you feeling in terms of how you're doing? Are you aware of any other things going on? Are you feeling like you're moving particularly fast or slow?
I thought I'm doing very, very slowly. And also, I didn't know that I had the camera on me the whole time. So I was kind of waiting for a camera to come.
Oh,
And
interesting.
the whole time, I thought I am doing so badly that no one is watching me. And I was like, okay, I don't want to do this anymore. I didn't know that the camera is standing behind me. And I was like, okay, I just have to do it. No one's going to see how badly I do. Okay. Maybe that's for the better. And so then when the puzzle got, more and more complete, uh, the atmosphere in the dome was tenser and tenser because you could hear the mumbling and everything. And I was like, okay, but there are still a lot of pieces that are black. Maybe someone is finishing. And then I was doing the blacks and doing the blacks and doing the blacks. And the atmosphere was even denser. And and then I was like, Okay, wait, is something going right here? And then I heard my friend Anya from Krakow scream, Veronica, go, go, go. And then the claps for Veronica. And I was like, oh, Veronica finished. Great, great, great. And am I going to finish like very fast? I think so. Because the blacks, for some reason, were going so fast for me. Like, I
Oh,
never have this sensation. I didn't even shape sort the blacks. I think I'm in the minority. I didn't shape sort any of it. I just look at them and was like, here, 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 here. And I don't think I would be able to repeat that. And then when I finished second, I was so happy because I also heard Polish people cheering, and I was like, oh, top two for Poland.
yeah, that was pretty incredible. And watching this all play out in the last few seconds was just so exciting because it looked like you were going to take it, but Veronica was right there. And then you were coming down to the last few pieces, and what we couldn't see on camera is that you had a bunch of black pieces sitting on top of other black pieces.
I know.
So we were all like, oh, he's got very few pieces for as many holes as he has left. That's interesting. And then
Yeah.
and then it became clear that you had pieces on top of the board. And then at the same time, Veronica finishes, but she's missing a piece.
Yeah.
And so you mentioned the tension just increasing and increasing. It was so exciting to watch. Thank you guys. I know that you didn't coordinate it, but thank you for putting on such an exciting finals for us.
Funny enough, I also didn't see the pieces on my puzzle. I always do that. I always have pieces on my puzzle at the very end. That's why I do the close so fast. But this time, because it was black on black, I couldn't see the pieces, and I was like, "Why did I do that?" But I don't have time to change that now.
So Veronica finished. You were about 30 seconds, 36 seconds behind that. How did you feel in terms of your performance on that puzzle? Did you come away satisfied?
I know I would have done this puzzle much better without the stress at the final. I know that, so probably if I sit now and do this puzzle now, I could do it 5 minutes faster, probably. But yeah, I was happy that it went so great. But also, I think that for everyone, this puzzle went slowly than usually. And yeah, this is also something that I think about a lot. That for everyone, it was a slog. And maybe just for me, it wasn't as much for the others. I don't know.
I mean, it seemed like it was a slog for everybody, given that you were second and you felt like it was moving slow, and everybody else must have moved slow as well.
Yeah,
And then Kati finishes 5 seconds behind you.
yeah, that was exciting.
And then one of my favorite moments is when you guys just full ran high speed right at each other to hug right at the end of that. It was such I think, a beautiful end to that competition.
Yeah, we did the same in Europeans. And also, fun fact, in Europeans, the top three is the same. And we have the second
Yeah.
picture from the second event together as three. So that was very nice. And also, I have to say something before I leave. Because I've listened to all the live streams, like actually on the same day that they were happening, but only like before going to sleep. And I have to admit that at some point I started getting a little bit hurt about commentators and guests talking about the fact that I know the Ramesburger piece cut. Because I know probably for many people it didn't feel that way, but for me, I read it and I still read it that Wiktor is doing so great and he got the second place only because he know the piece cut. And that was hurtful and it still is, and I'm processing that. And I know it, it wasn't the intention. But what I want to say, I prepared data for my piece cut knowledge to finally be able to tell people exactly how it is. So I have it here. I know exactly 36 pieces in a way that if I take them or see them in the main pile, I exactly know where they go. 36. And 90 pieces that if, let's say, we have the same section of something, or it's the edge or something like that, or I know generally in what section of the edge pieces go, those categories, I have 90 of them. And then the rest I don't know. And I have to say that for the final puzzle, the sections that had the pieces that I know were colorful. So they were the easiest sections. So
Right.
even it wasn't the repeated colors, it was the single color, like the purple. And I was like, why do I have the piece cut there?
I know that you're uncomfortable with the idea that people think that you knowing some of the piece cut gives you an advantage, but I talked to probably a dozen different people, world class and regular folks like myself, about whether that is an unfair advantage, and everybody is like, no, that is an extra skill. Everybody was like, Wiktor is extra amazing because he has some capability of knowing where the pieces are. So it sounds like you're saying that you don't have as much sort of internalized as people think that you might, and that's great. I love the clarification. But I did not find a single person who felt like that was a negative trait at all. It's just another thing that sets you apart as a exceptional world-class competitor. And lots of people talked about, like, I'm going to start focusing on doing that this next year round. So I think you're inspiring. It's unfortunate that, you're taking away that somehow we're feeling that you are less than. So I do want you to know that people see that as a good trait and are trying to emulate that, just like, all the other things that you do that people are trying to do so that they can become more world-class.
Thank you.
Wiktor, you had an amazing time with the individual competition, but pairs went pretty well as well. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Pairs were amazing this year. It was also amazing last year. We all remember the moment with Katrina Coleman and Rihanna when we stole their pieces. So that was iconic. But this year was also full of beautiful events. To start with the preliminary round, with the puzzles that we got, it was so funny because when we were walking towards the dome with Natalia, I told her that yesterday and the day before yesterday, I kind of got the records done in both of the events. So it would be nice to have a new record again. And
no pressure.
And I think we can do it because the main advantage that we have is the fact that I have done all of the puzzles that exist. So if we get whatever and it's not very hard, then we should be able to go sub 20 on it. And I was like, oh, yeah, we would be the first ones. That would be so fun. And she was like, yeah, we'll see.
So before we get too much further in this, I feel like we don't talk about Natalia all that much. So I'm wondering if you could give us a quick background on her.
Natalia Ptaszek. Natalia is a very, very talented speed puzzler. She started speed puzzling at the same time as I did. And I think it was around the same time range or faster. So it was November 2023 or even before. Recently, I talked to her and she said something different. So maybe I'm just missing something, some bits of information. And yeah, so I connected with Natalia in January 2024 when I registered for Worlds, and I saw the list of people, and I saw there were some Polish people as well, and I wanted to do pairs too because why would I go to the Worlds only to do individuals if there are
Absolutely
so many different things? And yeah, and I really, really wanted to find someone who would be on the same board as me. So what I mean is I don't want to find someone who is super fast. I just wanted to find someone who has the same philosophy and that they want to train, that they will train, and that we are going there because this is a competition and we enjoy the competition. And also we enjoy puzzles and community and everything, right? But I really wanted someone who is committed to the competition factor. And this is very rare in Poland.
Yeah.
So I started to stalk people on the Facebook just by the names I got from the registration list. I think I wrote to Natalia as the first person. And that was because I saw that she finished the same major as me. So I was like, oh, maybe that's
Which
the
is?
sign, which is automation and robotics. But she lived very far away and she still does. But I was like, maybe because she's so, engineering oriented, that maybe she will have a very similar approach. And I wrote to her and then she replied and it was very awkward. But at some point we just realized that we are very compatible in terms of the approach to speed puzzling, that we want to do it as well as we can, and that we want to train, we want to see. And I also heard that she was doing repeated tries on puzzles, trying different things and getting new puzzles. She had so many different puzzles that I didn't have at that point. And she was training hard. So I really like the fact that it was that way. I don't know at what point it was, but I think it was before March for sure. And then we decided to register as a pair before meeting. And we also talked that we are opposite when it comes to what things in puzzles go well with us. She is the best blocks of color person I know from Poland. And she loves them. She hates busy. I love busy. She hates trees. I love trees. So it was a perfect match in that sense. And we first met in May. So it was 4 months later. And we were practicing the whole 4 months. And we were head to head. But most of the time, Natalia was ahead of me in terms of the level. That was that was kind of frustrating because I was training, like, if like my amount of training is set as 1, then her amount of training was like 0.1. And she was, having the better results. But I was like, okay, she's my pair. That's great. And then I think, Natalia was definitely the first one from our pair to go sub 30 on anything. It was the postcards. And I remember that I was so jealous. It was like, how did you do that? Like,
I think the word you were looking for was happy. You were so happy.
I mean, I was happy, but also I would really want to do that too. And we were talking about how to do it, what are our ideas for the postcards, how to make it faster, what to do. And we kind of, came up with those plans together. And she did it first. Then at some point I did it, but I think it was like 2 months later. And so the journey was there. And Natalia is a very good speed puzzler, but sometimes the nerves get in her head a lot. But I think that if Natalia doesn't allow the stress to affect her, I think she would be very, very fast. And for the longest time, I actually considered Natalia to be like the third fastest Polish puzzler after Veronica and Christian. And we were kind of on the same level. So we were like third, fourth. And we also had Anna Kazana. So she was very fast as well. She is even faster now. There's a lot of people in Poland. And we also have Jagoda Kubiak. So 4 Polish people that are so fast. Like, that's tough. That's tough because it would be fun to know that if you're going to a Polish championships that you will be in top 3. But it's like you never know.
You should go find another country that you can be the inspiration for everybody. Like, I don't know what that'd be. Japan, maybe?
Oh, Japan! You know what? Actually, today I opened up the My Speed Puzzling and I opened the leaderboards tab, and I saw that there is a new person that went sub 20, and I was like,
Ooh.
"Ooh!" And it was someone from Japan,
Hmm.
and I was like, "Are we getting a speedy Asian speed puzzler?" Like that would be so fun, finally, right? Because Asians
Agreed.
are very good, like on a very even level, but they don't have those, very prominent people in speed puzzling yet. And maybe they're coming. I'm so excited.
So is Natalia jealous of you now?
uh, you would have to ask her. uh, but I think I would have been probably because I always aspire to do very well. And if I have someone that is better than me, I really like the fact that it's someone like that exists because I can try to be like them or even better. And that's what is motivating me. So this jealousy is not like a negative thing. I use it for a good cause. That worked with Christian, that worked with Katy, with Alejandro, Kristen, Teresa, Marqueta, like so many different people. I was like, I would love to be like them, but I am not.
How were you guys feeling coming into this year's competition then? Did you guys do a bunch of preparatory work as well, or is it really just building on your individual work?
I wish we did train a lot, but we live far away from each other, and also Natalia is working abroad, so she's very rarely in the country. And when she is in the country, she doesn't really want to do training on the other half of the country, right? So I think we met 3 times since Worlds. And each time we trained something different in different techniques and tactics. But the focal point was at Europeans because we, for the first time, saw evidently what our main drawback is as a pair. And we came up with the plan how to fix that. And I think it really worked. And we tried it on so many different puzzles. And since then, we are getting on 1,000 pieces pretty consistently below 50 minutes. And that is amazing to me that it worked so well. So what is it?
I was going to say,
Yeah, what is
I'm
it?
in suspense.
Yeah, so the story begins in France, where we had the 24-hour marathon, and I saw Katy and Chiara puzzling together. And I asked them many questions about what they do, how they work. And I thought that Natalia and I should do something similar. So we should accept the fact that on average, objectively, I am the faster one right now. So Natalia should be the supporter in a pair. So she should be the sorter and just, feeding me pieces and then doing something for herself. And I really thought that this idea was great. And we didn't really see anything bad. But at some point, especially during the Europeans, we realized that this approach is not for us. We shouldn't do
Hmm.
this. And it's because of my struggles. uh, because I am very bad at puzzling using pieces that are being handed to me.
Mm.
And it comes from two backgrounds, I think. First one is that I kind of don't trust anyone that they are going to sort correctly like I would. Maybe not correctly, so like in my way that it's kind
Yes.
of more visible for me what is happening in the sorted pile. So this is the first thing. And also the second thing is that just when I get the things that are sorted for me, I tend to not see what I'm supposed to do with the pieces. Like let's say that I am being
Hmm.
sorted the red tractor, right? And I just have to put it together. I can't. Like, I don't see the tractor in those pieces. And this is because when I do individuals and I sort for myself, at the same time, when I see the pieces in the main pile, I am already kind of imagining what I'm supposed to do. And when I don't
Yep.
have this thing, like when I'm just getting the pieces, I can't use this information and I cannot put them together.
Right. You still have to do that step of assembling them in your head, it sounds like.
Yeah, this is very important to me. And when I don't do that, I try to rush it because I know that I should be able to do it because I am giving the pieces. I'm the faster one. I should be able to do it. And then I stress and then I cannot do it. And then it's like, it's a whole spiral. And we realized that it is very bad for it to be allowed to happen. And this is what happened in Europeans with the final puzzle. That puzzle was very difficult to sort and also very difficult to puzzle.
What was that puzzle?
It was the Budapest view. It's from Treffel. And so the fact that it was difficult to sort made it difficult for Natalia to sort in a way that would, make it better for me. Also, the sections were bigger than normal. So it was hard for me to do kind of blocks of colors at that point. And then there was also a lot of details in the puzzle that made it impossible for Natalia to do it fast. And we were just all over the place and we're like, what is happening? Like, let's stop. So because of that, I came up with the idea that what we should do is to have this approach of cutting Chiara, but modified. So what we should do is to have Natalia and me working separately, entirely separately, as long as we can. And that comes down to we are flipping all of the pieces and taking the edge out. And in that moment, I am just doing the edge and Natalia is sorting things, but she is not sorting for me. She is sorting only stuff for herself. And probably at some point, either I am done with the border and she is done with the stuff and she can just do it, or if it's not that way, then I do some part of the border. And most of the time, the things that she wants to do are connected to the border because it's the sky or water or something like that. So I can just abandon this part of the edge and give it to her so she kind of knows the pieces better in the edge. So she kind of has the better idea how to connect them. And then I just leave the puzzling area and I just go to sorting and I just take stuff for myself. I tell Natalia what I do, but I generally just do it for myself so that I don't have this factor of being given the pieces. And actually, this is not universal. I wish it was. But if a puzzle is very, very easy, like it has so many different sortable sections that are kind of small to maybe like maximum 20 pieces, then Natalia can sort for me. Like I can manage that. But we also have to make this very fast decision at the very beginning if she is supposed to sort something for me or if she should just sort for herself the entire time. And so we got the not so easy puzzle in the final this year. And it was all about Natalia, you do you, and I do me. And at some point, we had to come together. But
So tell us how this new approach manifested itself in the very first puzzle you tackled at Worlds.
it worked really well. We got the Loving Longhorns. And it was actually a puzzle that I have done a week before. Not even a week, like 4 days before in Polish local competition. When I was driving to Warsaw to get to the plane, I stopped by a competition and that was the puzzle.
You're like, I'm going to go to the airport, but I'm going to stop by this competition on the way.
Yeah, this is what happened actually. And there were a lot of people from Poland that also later in Spain, they also went to that competition.
So you did the Longhorns. It's a puzzle that you had recently done. How did your new approach apply to this? Was it like everybody works on their own stuff because you guys are going to go through this really fast?
This is also what we would do normally without the new plan. But Natalia just got the sky, which is big section of the puzzle, and that was perfect.
Yeah.
And of course, we decided that Natalia is not going to sort for me. I'm just going to do my own thing. And we did what I said. We just pulled out the edge. I did the whole edge. Actually, I started with the sky of the edge of the sky
Mm-hmm.
first, and that was so perfect. I think I'll remember it forever because when I did the sky edge, the last piece I put in, it was the last piece for Natalia to collect all the sky pieces, and she started working on it, and I was like, synchronization.
It's the best, most fluid handoff ever.
Yes. And then I worked on the other sections of the border. And then when Natalia was doing the sky, I just started doing the flowers that were on the very bottom, the blue flowers. And also, when I started noticing that Natalia is almost finishing with the sky, I started giving her instructions to what the pieces that are connecting to the sky look like, how to recognize them better, so she can kind of work as a textual gradient down from the sky. And in the same time, I took some of the most recognizable pieces from the Longhorns, connected like four of them, and told her, okay, this is your starting point. Now you do the block of color from the cows, but this is the point you start with. And this worked really well because she said she had the anchor to work off of because she is like piece shaped person, and that was really helpful to her. And also, I positioned the first thing in the correct spot, so she didn't have to think about how to rotate it later. That was a great tactic that we did. And yeah, and I just worked on everything else, on the trees and bushes and everything that kind of looked horrible. And then we were done very fast, and we saw the time, and we were so excited. Natalia has this thing that if we finish in a very crazy time, she just grabs kind of head and is like, oh.
Because your final time was 18:45?
Something like that, yes.
So substantially under the 20 minutes.
We were very happy, and we are like, oh, we have the third record. Now we have to, take it to the semifinal.
Just as I pointed out before on the individuals, like I need to make sure that people know how strong a finish this is, because yes, you guys finished in a new fastest time, 18 minutes and 45 seconds. And yes, that's amazing on the face of it. A different round, Gabi Torcu and Alejandro Gago got 20 minutes and 53 seconds. So in the ballpark, right? Like not quite over the 20 minutes, but 18 minutes and 45 seconds, pretty great. But what's worth knowing again is that I mentioned before about comparing you in individuals to the middleist person and how much faster you were in each round. So in each of the other 3 rounds, the winner was about 2 times faster than the middleist person. And you were 2.5 times faster than the middleist person, you and Natalia in this case. So in a round that was fairly quick, you guys set a fast time, but you set a huge fast time relative to the rest of the folks in your heat. So it's just a good indicator that not only was this fast, but leveled to everybody else who was also in this was amazingly fast.
And it was also very stressful because we knew that our group was pretty stacked. We had Alejandro and Gisela. We had 2 pairs from Czech Republic. We are puzzling next to Katerina and Jana. Yeah, that was very interesting because we actually, not we, Natalia would be mad. I forgot about our puzzle box stand. And we're like, okay, we don't have the stand now. What do we do? And we asked Diana and Katarina if we can, kind of lay the box next to theirs. But then, because of the fact that we are sitting in the second table, it was the exact table that had the biggest impact of the fanning system behind us. And the boxes kept falling. And they were like, okay, please don't use our box. And we were like, okay, yeah, I mean, yeah, okay. But what do we do now? And I was like, you know what? We don't need the box. And I just placed the box like next to me flat. And we are like, okay, just don't look at that.
So you guys didn't have a visual reference for the entire time?
No, we didn't. We only had my memory from 4 days ago.
Well, but your memory is non-trivial, right? Like the thing is, it seems like when a puzzle goes into your brain, it's there forever. And so using Victor's brain as a reference for a puzzle is a pretty strong tool, especially if you're telling her, here's what the pieces look like for this area.
Yeah, yeah. But this is what I mean. Like when I told her, like, our main advantage is that I did almost all of the puzzles. It's just like I remember all of them. So it doesn't really matter what we get. We are going to be very fast on those.
And so did you guys celebrate?
Kind of, yeah. We celebrated mainly by running away from the dome because it was very hot.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I think we did an interview, a very fast one. And then we kind of tried to not go inside anymore. And after that, Natalia was assigned a task to wait for the first semifinal because our group was after the huge break. So after our group was supposed to be the semifinal, and she was meant to go to the dome and wait in the queue to buy the puzzle from the first semifinal because Alejandro and I were waiting for the puzzle and we wanted to do it alongside the competition. So she brought it with like inside the bag, Ravensburger bag, so we don't see what it is.
Oh, fun.
But yeah, at the same time, we had the huge telecam outside. So we had a glimpse of what it looks like, but we didn't look at it.
You guys got that puzzle handed to you outside the dome.
Yes.
While the competition was going on, and you started what, like 5 minutes into the actual competition?
Oh, I think more. We were pretty late with starting that. I think Katy and Kiara were done or almost done when we started. Them and the three other pairs that were the same, like 30 minutes apart from each other.
Katy and Kiara finished 25-23. Ellen and Ingesino finished 15 seconds later. Tira and Tobias from Sweden finished 3 seconds later. And Lenka and Veronica from Slovakia finished 11 seconds later. So you're 100% right, all inside of 30 seconds.
Yeah, that was amazing. We didn't see that, but that was amazing.
I saw you posted about puzzling with Alejandro. Is this the first time you'd puzzled with him?
Yes, the first time
so
ever.
It seemed like that experience went really well.
It did. It was one of my best highlights ever from this Worlds. I want to do it again for sure. Like, this was so amazing. Not only because of the speed, like the speed is like, no, I puzzled with Kiara, Hannah, Katy, so I know how to, what it feels like, but with Hannah, it was just like, it was so special. It was like you're meeting the legend, and also the legend is so nice to you. And you're puzzling together, and you kind of subdivided the tasks, and the tasks are going great despite you kind of didn't expect it to go as well because the puzzle was difficult. And it was so fun. He was handing me pieces that I didn't knew I needed, and then I was giving him pieces that he didn't knew he needed. It was so perfect. Yeah.
The Victor that started off on this whole journey at the time when you probably were aware early in your journey about Alejandro because he was the at least one time, if not 2-time world champion by the time you actually got started.
2-time.
2-time. If I'd have told you that this was going to be the end result in a couple of years, I bet you wouldn't have believed it.
Do you remember the Polish Powerhouse episode? Because I said that after seeing Alejandro, I was like, I can do that.
Yes, I do remember that.
So I would have believed you because I was expecting myself to, learn how to do it.
All right, so if we'd asked the 6 months in version of Victor who had some opportunity to see what world class looks like, then you might have been more impressed.
Yes.
That's almost a spectator event in itself. Like, I would love to have been sitting there just watching you guys do that because I bet that was great fun to watch as well as to participate in.
There were a lot of people watching us and recording us as well. I was supposed to record it, like, to have the video out of it, and I set up my phone stand, and then I forgot to mount my phone and do whatever, and then we just did the puzzle, and I was like, oh, I didn't do anything.
So then the next day was semifinals, your round of semifinals.
It's the same day.
Same day.
Yeah, after the first one, yes.
How did that go?
So we got the puzzle. That was kind of horrible.
Had you seen it? This was one of the released images.
Yeah.
Yeah, the leaked images.
We saw some of the images and also some that didn't show up at the competition still. So we are kind of guessing that those puzzles were supposed to be in the original schedule when there were more semifinals.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, I was just talking last night. We were wondering where those other puzzles, what happened to them. So yeah, I bet you're right.
And yeah, so we saw the Frida puzzle, and I kind of were like, oh, I don't think we're going to get this one. And even if we do, it's okay. Like Natalia can do the middle and I can do the rest. And it should be okay. And yeah, and then we saw the Frida puzzle. But we didn't account for the fact that it was very dark in the dome. And also they had those red lights inside this year, which was very random. And I don't know if you know the color theory, but if you have red lights and green leaves on a puzzle, it doesn't go together very nicely. They're kind of disappearing before your eyes.
Interesting. Yeah, it's a great point.
And I think that has affected a lot of pairs. But yeah, so that puzzle was it was vertical, so that's horrible. But aside from that, it had flowers and leaves. So okay, I think I should be okay. This is what I thought before we started. And after we started, we had this thing when we talked with Natalia that okay, so if we get a vertical puzzle, we do it that way or another way, and we place the box like this or like that. And when we saw that it's Frida, I kind of I told Natalia, okay, let's do it differently. And she was like, no.
Good for her. Good for her.
She was like, I mean, we can do that, but also I want you to remember that. Oh, and wait, we don't have to decide yet. We'll see. I think we are going to do the same thing that we planned. And I think like 8 minutes passed. And I was like, Natalia, let's do it the same way. And she was like, yeah, okay. I knew that would happen. Yeah, so at the very end, we had the puzzle facing me the right way. But Natalia was doing the Frida's face outside of the frame. And also the frame was kind of non-existent for the most part of the assembly because it was very difficult with all the greens.
Yeah, there's a lot of the same kind of thing going on in the edge.
Yeah, so my tasks weren't easy in this puzzle. I mean, Natalia's either, but normally when I get a task that I want to do, it's okay. But this time, I was like, I had to do this butterfly, those two flowers, and this, the how is it called? The very small bird.
Hummingbird?
Hummingbird, yeah. I didn't see the hummingbird. Like 15 minutes into the puzzle, I was like, oh, there's a hummingbird.
Oh yeah, I still haven't seen the hummingbird like on that puzzle.
It's very hidden.
Yeah.
Oh,
Lower right-hand corner.
Interesting. It's bigger than I would have expected.
Yeah. And that was helpful because I expected it to be just leaves.
Mm-hmm.
And then I came into this rabbit hole of white flowers. And those flowers were so difficult for some reason. And also, this is a good point to point out that because of the fact that I know some of the piece shapes that I mentioned previously, is like sometimes when I see a section like those white flowers that I kind of know that in this section I know the pieces, I tend to fixate on the piece shapes I know instead of actually trying to puzzle it the best way I can. and it's interfering with me doing it better than if I didn't know the piece cut. So
you're not using the visual cues that you could be using.
yeah, so I also had to work on that because I had some of the pieces in my head for a very long time, and I, for the very long time, also struggled with actually not necessarily using them all the time, because sometimes it was just easier to not look at them and just do the picture. Uh, it helps if the section is very difficult and like only one color, then this is a very big advantage to have. But outside of that, it's kind of preventing you from going faster. And so I was doing the flowers and I was complaining a lot because I was struggling with everything I did in this puzzle, with both of the flowers, with the butterfly, with the hummingbird that I didn't see, and then with the white flowers, I couldn't do them. And Natalia all the time was like, "Yeah, it will be alright, it will be alright." I am struggling with the face. I cannot do the face, and I was like, I have to look away for a second from the white flowers, and then I look up, and I see Natalia with the full face done. I am like, what do you mean? How is it bad?
How are you struggling if it is all done?
Yeah. So every time we do pair puzzling with Natalia, we are laughing a lot because we are joking and kind of, doing jokes about ourselves. I'm joking about her. She's joking about me. We are kind of rude as well. So this is also very fun. And yeah, this is exactly what happened. I just looked up and was like, what do you mean? What the hell? Is this struggling? Look at me. Yeah, and the face was placed in the correct spots not long after that. And then I had this switch in my brain, like, okay, abandon the biscuit, abandon the biscuit. And then I did the white flowers, like, not a problem. And I was like, okay.
Wow, that's super interesting, though, that your brain was, at least in this moment, very like one thing or the other, not
Yeah.
both things at the same time.
It takes too much brain power to try to, use the piece cut and go fast, and like to use it and not use it at the same time is very difficult.
Sure.
So yeah, I don't know how you say that in English, but in Poland we say every stick has two ends. So you can either be better because you know the piece cut, but also it can make you slower. And it also is making some people, me especially, slower for vertical puzzles because I know the piece cut in horizontal way, and even if I don't know the pieces, because if we are talking about the 36 pieces that I just know, I know where they go. But the other pieces that I even don't know, but I have the idea of what Ravensburger pieces look like, then I am automatically trying to rotate them in the correct orientation, and they are never direct orientation with vertical puzzles. So it's taking a little bit of time with each piece, and then you have to multiply it by 500.
Does it matter to you whether if it's in landscape, whether it's upside down or right side up? Because sometimes they'll cut the piece cut will be flipped.
No, it doesn't matter.
So, but the vertical is a big deal.
Yeah, a vertical is bad.
Of the 36 do you have a favorite?
Yes.
Which one is it?
It looks very triangular, and it's connecting to the edge. I think it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th row in the top right or 5th bottom left, and it has like two holes and two knobs on the same side, and it looks very funky.
I wonder if it connects to Kati's favorite piece. Kati was telling us she has like two that go together that are her little friends.
I think I know which ones she means because I was considering that one too.
Back to pairs. So you guys were both struggling. She was struggling in a way that means that she was doing really well. You were struggling in a way that was causing you some grief. How'd the rest of that puzzle go?
Actually, very nice. I was watching the live stream on the same day after we went back to the apartment, and I saw how, I mean, not badly, but like how little pieces we had compared to other pairs till the first half of the solve. Uh, and then in the second half, we just sped up so much because I didn't have any more flowers to do. And I was like, leaves. And also at this point, I could tell which color and texture of each leaf go. So Natalia was doing 2 of the red flowers connecting to Frida.
Mm-hmm.
And so she was working on that. And then I was building the structure of the pieces in the leaves. And also the edge was already complete.
Yeah.
So when Natalia was done with the hard sections, because she kind of abandoned the flowers at some point because she said it's too difficult, and she started doing the leaves too, and I was like, okay, if you see this screen, it's there and it's there and it's there and it's there. And so I had instructions ready for her again, like with the cows and the longhorns. Yeah, this was very fun, and we were doing the greens so fast, like we almost went into each other with our hands, but we avoided each other. I don't know how. We never tried to train that. We just, I don't know how it works. Natalia said that she is always trying to avoid me, so maybe it's just the fact that I don't care and I just do, and she is the mindful one.
That's right. She is really good, is what you've learned.
Yeah.
Did you have any sense of how you guys were doing relative to the rest of the pairs around you?
We thought that we are going to be maybe top 5 because it was going all right, and also we knew that the puzzle is very difficult and most of the people hate leaves. So we knew that because I'm doing the leaves that I love, then it would go relatively fast, but also we are struggling a lot. So we were like, okay, let's just finish that, it will be great. And when we're, kind of very close to being done, we're like, why is no one finishing? There's like, Veronica should be done by now. What is happening? Because we're standing next to Veronica and Anna, and we kind of could see what they're doing. We weren't supposed to. Natalia is always the one that is looking around and stressing out. And for the semifinal, she said that she promises herself and me that she's not going to do that, and she didn't. But instead, I was looking around. I was just constantly looking at Veronica. And
when you guys look, do you tell each other what you see around him, or like when Natalia's stressing about what she sees, is she stressing all by herself? Is she sharing that with you?
She is sharing, but I was quiet because I wasn't sure what actually I'm seeing because it's far away and I don't have time to look very closely. So I just glimpsed and I was like, oh, there have something done. Okay, I don't have time to look at this anymore. And I just started doing the puzzle again every time. And also I didn't want to negatively affect Natalia because she also was doing so great the whole time. And I think we both are this way, that if we get super excited about being able to do very well, we kind of start to struggle because the nerves are so high and we are kind of placing the pieces in the obviously wrong places. And yeah, it's the whole mess.
Yeah, which we learned in the Polish Powerhouse episode. You don't like placing pieces in the wrong place.
Yeah, I don't like it. And it's not like I'm doing it on purpose because I am, in panic mode. Because I am in panic mode, my like correct judgment of where something goes is dropping to like non-existent level.
Yeah, and then if you put something in the wrong place, does that at that point reinforce the negativity?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you found a way to break out of that?
Yeah, I was trying to puzzle like Veronica for a year to be like very calm and just take one piece and place it there. And yeah, so I tried to do that. And for the semifinal, it worked.
For the semifinal, you guys again crushed that puzzle, again relative to the field. This time you were 1.8 times faster than the middle pair, but we'd removed a bunch of people who didn't make it out of the heats. So the semifinals are much more competitive. So 1.8 times faster is actually substantially faster than the rest of the pair. So not only did you guys do that puzzle fast, you did it fast relative to amazing competition. So I assume that you must have felt good coming out of that.
Yeah. Because, being able to do the unreleased puzzle faster than a lot of pairs that were in the semifinal, especially, having Veronica and Anya next to us, that felt really special. Like, we were so happy, so unbelievably happy, and so shocked that we actually managed to do that. I think this is the same feeling that we had in the preliminary round in Europeans, when we also beat Veronica and Anya and Teresa and Marketa, and we were like, oh my God, this is not real. This is also always very special to me, to Natalia, that these are the signs, that we have it in us and we can do it at some point.
Yeah, I mean, you guys finished a minute almost and a half ahead of Veronica and Anna, which at the highest end of a competition, I often think that like 10, 15 seconds is just random. Like the difference between a couple of teams, if it's in the 10 to 15 seconds time, it's just the way the box comes out, right? The way the pieces come out, random distractions that happen, something that floats across your mind that distracts you for a second, right? The combination of all those. But once you get into like a minute, minute and a half, you're talking about like actual skill difference with this particular puzzle in front of you, right? Something, it's not just a bunch of really small things went right. More than that is happening.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of things went wrong with this puzzle. This is also the thing that I really dislike about Worlds, is that we are judged only by this one puzzle, and then the ranking is final. I don't like that, and also I would feel bad if it was the final and we won. Like, I would be happy, but also I would be like, this is not a true, correct representation of if the pair is actually the fastest one in the world. Same with solos and teams. I mean, teams has two puzzles.
With teams, it was a little better, right? Because this year there were two very different kinds of puzzles, and we'll talk about teams here in a second. But those different kinds of puzzles give more opportunity to test that a team is versatile across a variety of puzzles, as opposed to, I think, as you're saying, getting lucky with the puzzle that works well for them right in front of it.
I really want to have a competition where we are given at least two puzzles to complete in solo final, in pairs final. And also, I would really love to have 500 pieces in pairs final. I dislike the 1000s. Not like I'm bad at them, because I'm good at them, but I don't like doing them. And also, it's kind of random that we have 500 pieces in preliminary and semifinal, and then in the final is something different. And then it's kind of like there is no sense in practicing pairs on 500 pieces if you are trying to be very good at the whole division, because you need to do 1000 pieces, right? And this is also something that I've learned, is that I do worse on 1000 pieces than on 500 pieces. And I know that Veronica is the opposite. She showed best to us in the infamous competition that, all of the Polish people kind of met up for the first time. That she
The
can
birth of
do.
the urban legend
Yes,
competition.
exactly. So that was crazy, right? Veronica was, I think, 15 minutes faster than Christian, and they were on the same kind of level at that point, right? So
I
it was
forgot,
crazy.
15 minutes.
15 minutes on 1000 pieces, yeah. And Christian was like, I don't know, 30 minutes faster than me. So the gaps were huge.
So a pairs final for you would be two 500s with different sets of capabilities required.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Consecutive, like it is in teams, or more like averaged out across two separate events?
Good question. I think the first one.
More exciting for sure.
Yeah, more exciting and kind of you're also doing the 1,000 pieces still,
Mm-hmm.
but not really.
Mm.
So you
Right.
have the endurance factor.
The competition that I've been thinking about, getting off track now, is like a puzzle meet where you have like a team, maybe from a country or from a state. For background, I'm thinking of this like a swim meet because I did swimming as a kid. So, each competitor is like allowed to be in like two or three individual events and then like relays or team events. But then you can have like the different distances. So, like, you can have like a 300, a 500, a 1000, and you could even do like different types of puzzles because with swimming there's different strokes, so you could have a landscape division and a illustration. I think it would be fun.
Yeah, that would be fun. I would do that.
If you were trying to do that at Worlds, is that like a 3-week event?
I mean, if we change the venue and you can run multiple competitions at the same time in different rooms,
Yes.
then it can be even shorter than a week.
Yeah, I mean, if you limit competitors to a certain number of events, it makes it more strategic too, like who enters in which event, and you could have some running simultaneously too.
Yeah, when you think about, I don't know, the different sports, you have people running, you have people throwing, jumping, everything at the same time. And it's on the same live stream, just highlighting different moments of different
Mm.
category, right? So
Mm-hmm.
this is
Mm-hmm.
doable. This has been done before.
And then we would have something like the pentathlon of events where a person
Yeah.
enters all of the different things. I'm looking forward to the next Puzzle Olympics that EB will arrange every 4 years.
That seems reasonable.
Going back to this puzzle, though, it's a single 1,000-piece puzzle. The image was released in
Yes.
advance, was leaked in advance. Did you use it at all for planning purposes?
Yes, we saw the puzzle, the
Mhm.
puzzle image. We also started, of course, strategizing because this is the next good thing that we have, that we are both capable and willing to overanalyze things, and that is very good if like the image is leaked, right? Because we can look, we can divide the image, we can do different things. But I have to mention one thing is that maybe it's just me having a very poor moral code. Probably, yeah. Because at some point, I think it was on Saturday when we woke up in our apartment, I told Natalia that because I had like two laptops with me in Spain, one my personal and then the one from work. And I told her that, okay, I can just open up my laptop and, I can write a Python code that will take the image and divide it into smaller sections. And then I can randomize the program in a way that it will show us the very small sections. And we have to recognize where exactly on the puzzle it is. And we can try to learn the puzzle that way. Because, like, you can win actual money and everyone sees this image, right? So if we have this advantage of me being able to do something like this, then me should maybe do it. And Natalia said that she's not going to try hard as much. And I was like, okay, I guess, okay. Uh, because I also had some conscience issues with it, like, okay, like maybe this is actually, too much and maybe I shouldn't do it. Okay. And then after the final, I was listening to the interviews with the pairs that were, at the top three. And Ellen and Inge, they said that they used an app to download the puzzle into it and to puzzle this exact puzzle before the competition. And I was
Mhm.
like, Natalia.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely heard. I know that one pair overlaid the 1,000-piece cut on top of the image and was looking at like, okay, how many pieces does this have? How many pieces does this have? I know that another pair did sort of what you said and applied just a square grid over the top of it and was like trying to figure out where color patterns go. And I think that a lot of pairs took this as an opportunity to push it as far as they could
Yeah.
to try and get as much information as they could out of it. So I think that what you're calling a flaw in your moral code, I can't look into your soul, but in this case, just feels like leveraging the tools you have available to the best effect, right?
I mean,
And
yeah.
everybody's doing it.
True. Yeah, this is a very difficult topic to look at it from the outside perspective, because at the same time, I would like to, to be moral and civil. But at the same time, I was like, okay, but since everyone is doing it, then everything we actually do and every pair that see this image, everything they do with it is a fair game at this point.
So does Natalia regret not doing that? Because you guys finished just outside of the money, right?
I don't know if she does. I kind of do, but also I kind of don't. It doesn't really matter as much. Like the fact that I can sometimes just sit alone and wonder if we did that would be faster than England, and B, yes, maybe not. The gap was not that small, so we never know how it would go. So yeah, I don't really think about it that much. Just sometimes out of the whim.
There's not a person I talked to who wasn't like, I'd really much rather have had it undisclosed. And because like there's a certain purity of the event, right? You arrive, there's an image in front of you. Maybe in an ideal world, there's an image in front of you from a brand you don't recognize, and you don't know the image, so maybe you don't even know the cut. What we want to do is see the world's best at doing that, right? That is definitely what we would love to see, but you got to come to the table with the things like last year. I don't remember seeing it as much this year, and Evie can correct me here, but there's a lot of people doing like guesswork on what the actual imagery could be, and doing a good job of it. And that's another area right? That's another way of saying, I'm going to give myself an advantage based on knowledge I can generate. In this particular case, everybody had access to the image. And so it's just a thing that everybody has to figure out how they can optimize around.
Right. I'm also curious, like, now having heard what other people ended up doing, do you think the conversation with Natalia would go differently with the next leaked puzzle?
I don't know, because I think for her it was mostly the moral thing, and I just decided to respect that, and I wouldn't push it, because I knew that people are going to do things that we are not going to do. This is what I decided to do. I mean, I could have done it myself and just studied the puzzle myself, lose some hours of the sleep, but I didn't, because I respected her decision. And I'm very happy that we stayed at pair in that conversation.
I think half the people that I talked to who had some plan going in, who had studied the image, had made some sort of strategic approach to it, changed their plan the moment the pieces came out of the box. Actually, probably the moment they saw the actual box top. Did you guys have any moments where once you actually saw the image and the pieces for real, it changed anything? Or had you not, because you guys hadn't invested so much in planning out the individual details, there was nothing to backtrack from?
Oh, don't get me wrong. We planned it out in details. We just didn't use Python code.
Right.
So, no, after seeing the pieces, we decided just to go with the plan we had. I was sure our plan is great. And it was great, because we didn't change anything during the solve, and we didn't feel like we have to, because it was going great. And only in the very end kind of struggled, and maybe not the end, but like the second half we struggled, because it was the moment where we had to start working together again. this is not a bad thing that we cannot work together. It's just the fact that most of the time when we have to work together is in those sections that Natalia is not particularly good at. And she feels bad about not being good at them. So it kind of affects the puzzling in many ways. And we are both actually trying to, work through that. And as we are going, don't worry, it's okay. You can put the pieces a bit slower. Just, you just don't panic, right? And it works. We are not panicking, but we know we are going slower when we have one section that is left that is not to strength or either me or her. So we knew that moment would come. Natalia was teasing me the whole time during the solve that I should be doing the lower half of the puzzle faster because she's almost done and she doesn't want to do that. And I was like, yeah, okay, yeah, you try doing that. But Natalia did so amazing in the final. Like, I would never be able to do the top half of the puzzle so fast. We had this section done and everyone was still doing the lower half and I was just crying down there. Like, this is horrible. Please help me.
What were the details of the plan you had going in?
So there are a few points. Main point was that Natalia is not sorting for me in this puzzle. That Natalia is going to do the whole top section of the puzzle, including the writing, the colorful writing, and the dome windows. Pay attention to the different trees that are in the background. So recognize the fact that those are different, those two on the left side, and that the one on the right is a very unique color that you can see and actually use that instead of shapes of the blue windows. Also, pay attention to the fact that the windows are either blue or green, and the greens are in the same area, down and in the middle. So we overanalyzed those sections, and Natalia had the plan how to do it, and she did that flawlessly. And also, it was Natalia's idea that she will probably do the top section very fast. So she needs to do something in the very beginning that will postpone her starting working on that. So she sorted a lot of those same color blocks, like the yellow shirt, the blue shirt, the pink shirt, and those things. And she sorted it for herself, and she did all of them. And after that, she went to the top section, and I could work around those blocks of colors that I wouldn't like to do. I did the green thing, and I did, the faces and hands and hair and everything, all of the details that were basically there. What I struggled with were the tablecloths because it was, again, a plain color and I couldn't do it. And then also all of the pieces that were left that were like a puzzle inside the puzzle. This is the only thing that we didn't expect from the puzzle. Everything went just as we planned. Those pieces were very difficult to orientate. We thought it's not going to be as bad, but it was horrible to try to recognize that.
You said something I didn't quite follow. So you said that she knew that she was going to be really fast at the dome section of things, and therefore she needed to postpone that. Is that postponing it because you were doing other things that would run into conflict if those things were going on at different timings?
No. We knew that Natalia is not going to be able to do the lower half of the puzzle fast because she said it herself. She will struggle there because it's too busy for her. And we knew that I won't touch the top section because this is something that she can work on. Since we knew that, and we knew that Natalia should be working on it as long as she can, so that we don't have us both in the busy section.
So she was doing things in that lower section early so that stuff would be sort of taken care of. You wouldn't be working in that same space, and then she could go back and work on the top.
I was doing the edge in that time. When I was done with the edge, she already had all of the windows sorted and the writing sorted, and then she also had all of the patches of colors done. Natalia is crazy.
So then it went as you guys expected. Some challenges near the end related to the puzzles with puzzle pieces on them.
Mhm.
Then you start, I imagine, hearing people finish. Does that impact you when you're hearing other pairs finishing?
It does. Yeah. It creates this increased stress that you should go faster now. And also, it kind of gives this very slight disappointment, but not the fact that you're not winning, but like when you look at your puzzle, how much there's still left, it's like, okay, but it doesn't mean that we are not going to be even in the top 10. Like, we had so many pieces left, right?
Because you guys would go on to finish about 3 minutes and 45 seconds later, which suggests you had a fair amount of pieces left.
Mm-hmm.
Because you guys are very fast, that's probably looks like a good number of pieces because you're going to blow through those really fast. So I can imagine you glancing down and being like, oh yeah, we still have a long ways to go.
Yeah, but we also always forget with Natalia how fast we can puzzle at the very end. So this is also very funny because we are watching the live streams together in our apartment, and we are looking at the preliminary round from Paris, and we were like, we are going to be done in 4 minutes, and half of the puzzle is not there.
I like that you're watching your execution in disbelief.
Yes, exactly. Like every time I look at this, like, how did we even do it? The same with the video that I have on my channel that is, with the Hello Vinyl. I always look at it and I'm like, how am I supposed to finish that in 2 minutes? How?
You guys ended up fourth behind, obviously, Veronica and Anna, Katya and Kiara, and Ellen and Inga. How did you feel at the completion of that?
Funny. Because
I love Wiktor, that your answers you give me to just like questions that I toss out there that most people answer the same way. Your answers are almost never what I expect, in the best way. So please continue doing that. But it amuses me every time. Please go on.
After we heard the finish of Inga and Ellen, I looked at Natalia and I was like, if we get fourth, we get the 9,000 pieces. Should we slow down now?
Because the prize for fourth place was a 9,000 piece puzzle.
Yeah, we're talking about it while going to the final. That's okay, but if we get fourth, like, how are we going to do it? And when we're like, we are almost done, are we going to be fourth? Should we slow down? And Natalia was like, oh, we'll manage. So after we are done, we're like, okay, we are fourth. Great.
What was the image of the 9,000 piece puzzle prize?
It was the Disney Gallery. I haven't done it. I mean, I have never done 9,000 pieces. And Natalia also haven't done it, so she was happy because she did some of them.
So this year, your team is a super team. It is a super team in most every sense of the word, except for the ability to fly and solve crimes. Tell me how that team came together. So your team was you, Kati Reiner, Chiara Del Antonio, and
Hanna Lehikoinen.
Hanna Lehikoinen. The funny thing is I saw Hanna was staying in the hotel that I was staying in, and so I saw her mom continuously, which is great. She's very delightful. And so at the end, just before going into teams, I'm like, okay, Hanna, I know I'm going to say your name a few times. Can you tell me how to pronounce your last name? And so everybody at the table took a few rounds of telling me how to pronounce the last name so that I could do it. So Hanna Lehikoinen. The four of you came together through your mutual engagement with Euro Jigsaw Jam. Like, that seems how, obviously your name is an homage to that. The Euro Jigsaw Jacks, right, is an homage to the EJJ. So one suspects that the reason that you guys came together, at least a core of your foundation, is related to relationships that were maybe developed during that program.
I think to some extent, but also the story it's something different. Like, it's not about EJJs specifically. And actually, in the original version of the team, I wasn't supposed to be on the team. I think it started at Worlds last year. I've heard them talking about the possibility of creating a team because most of the team was kind of dissatisfied with their current team situation. And also, Katya and Kiara wanted to be together, and so many different things. And the original team was Kiara, Andrea Peng, and Hannah Hikon. And after some time, they were still looking for a fourth person. And they said that they are considering either me or Kati. And I kind of said that, okay, it is not even a choice. I mean, Kiara is Kati's pair, and this is just perfect opportunity, right? So I am very honored to be under the consideration, but like, come on. And they went for Kati, so that was like, to be expected. And then at some point, Andrea had to withdraw from the team, and at that moment, they asked me if I will be on a team. And that was also very difficult for me because I didn't know my team's situation because I also I didn't want to be in the same team as last year, but I also thought about taking Natalia alongside with me to a new team. And it was very complicated on many different levels. Um, but eventually, I made it to the team with them, and that was very special to me because we really became friends. And also, we all knew that we are going to end up in France at 24-hour marathon in March. So that was a great opportunity to meet and maybe do some training, even though we are from 4 different countries. And we wanted to pay homage to EGJs because both me and Hannah, we kind of became the speed puzzler known personality because of them. Hannah won the first EGJ ever and by a huge margin. I joined the EGJs at June or July, and also I also started doing very great at the very beginning. So they knew me from there, and also I created my Instagram account because of EGJs because I was having FOMO that there were those posts of Michelle was doing the posts where she was pointing out that in the next EGJ we are going to see, and she was tagging people that are the very fast people that are going to be there. And also, when she was posting results, she would tag people, and I was like, my name is always blank. Like, I would love to have a tag there too. And so this is why I created the Instagram.
So that her post would have somewhere to drive people to.
I just didn't like the blank space next to my name.
Did you guys get chances outside of formal competition to practice together?
If we count France, then yes.
Mm-hmm.
Because we did 1,000 pieces before the marathon as 4 people. It was actually very difficult. And also the setup in the team was so much different because Katia and I, we are supposed to be the solvers. Hannah and Kiara were supposed to be the sorters and then the solvers because they wanted to, go based on the average speed to make it, as optimal as possible. And I told them that I don't think it's going to work out because I kind of struggle with puzzling if I'm given the pieces.
Right.
But at some point they realized that not in France, even though we did so many puzzles during the marathon, nobody realized that I shouldn't be the one to solve it. And maybe this is because I was so excited after the marathon because I was so unhappy. Like that I have to do those pieces. Like I just wanted to give people the pieces. I didn't want to do them. And everyone was like, no, you still in puzzle. And then we met at Budapest, the Europeans, and we had some night puzzling training sessions. And during that, I was assertive enough to finally say, okay, I think I shouldn't do the puzzles. I should sort because I am unable to do anything. And we switched. And after that, we started going so much faster. And we also realized that the like the way I sort for myself in individuals that helps me solving different sections. It's actually helpful to everyone in a team. So I just had to do the things I knew the best in individuals, and this translation worked really well because I didn't have to learn a new thing or how to do something differently. I mean, I had to do some tweaks to be able to work as a team because Chiara had some restrictions for us, or some things, but generally the main idea of how I do puzzles was the same. I just didn't have to bother with actually putting the pieces together, so that was pretty nice.
It's really interesting to hear about that. I think a lot of people approach team puzzling kind of like, okay, if you get like four super fast people together, you're going to be super fast. But hearing the story of your team, there's definitely still strategy and process to get to that super fast. It's not just combining four super fast people.
Yeah, we wouldn't be as fast just because of the combination of the speed puzzlers, but also we cannot deny that we were very fast, even though we didn't have the best strategy yet at that point.
It's true. Rob's algorithm ranked you as the top team, and you achieved that. You met that expectation.
I mean, I remember when I first heard about it, I'm like, oh, well, okay. This is nearly as powerful a team as you can put together. But I've heard a number of stories where even really strong sets of individuals get together to do a team-based competition, and their first puzzle or two is a wreck. Where they're just like, we learned so much because if we'd have just come in and started doing a puzzle based on how we normally puzzle in a competition, we didn't realize how many things that we needed to accommodate for how everybody else puzzles in order to actually get to the level of efficiency. So it's not always just a plug and play and everybody works. That does happen, but as often as not, you hear people go, "Oh yeah, it was terrible. That first puzzle we did together was awful." So I'm not surprised that it would take a little bit of reorganizing and thoughtfulness in order to get the best out of all of you guys.
Yeah, we for sure found the sweet spot for how we should do things.
Coming into 2025 Worlds, were you guys looking to be first place? Like, did you have goals that you were trying to hit?
I was. But I mean, I am the most competitive out of the team. So I was always like, okay, we can win it. Like, this type of atmosphere. But Chiara, Kat, and Hannah, they were like, oh, it would be fun if we do that. But we mainly have to, have fun and also like try really hard. But also it's for fun, and we are going to do well because we are friends, and we also are very fast, so we have a chance. But I was like, no, I think we can win.
I thought you could win too. Rob did too, or Rob's program did.
You guys made an interesting puzzle choice in the first round. Just as a reminder to folks in teams, you get 4 1,000 piece puzzles and you choose 2 to do as a team in whatever order you like. So any of those 2. They had interesting themes, the recurring Christmas themes, for example. Most teams made a specific set of choices on round A. So there was a Bridgerton puzzle, I think is a Sunset over Amsterdam puzzle. There's a Disney Christmas puzzle, and then a Disney Snow Globes puzzle. Most teams chose the Bridgerton puzzle and the Amsterdam puzzle. You guys made a different choice.
We knew that when it comes to choosing right puzzles for us to do, it should be me and Chiara talking about it. Because both Hannah and Katia admit that they are not really great with judging the difficulty of puzzles. So we were assigned a task to do it. And we all agreed that we should do the Amsterdam one because Chiara and Katia did this puzzle as a pair in August. So that would be faster just by default. And the second one, we were looking at the Bridgerton, and yeah, we didn't really look at it that much because I was very strongly opinionated about like, okay, but this puzzle is going to be a hell to sort because the greens are everywhere and maybe they're repetitive and like it looked horrible. And Kiara agreed with me, and we were like, okay, we have to choose the Christmas tree puzzle. So we chose that one. And after the fact, we when we actually looked at the Bridgerton closely, we are sure that we should have picked that one, and it would have probably be faster than the Amsterdam. That was a bummer. We cannot know if we had done it, would we have another record?
You think that the Bridgerton puzzle would have been faster than the Amsterdam puzzle?
Yeah, I believe so.
Interesting.
The Amsterdam has had a lot of repetition, and the Bridgerton had maybe two of the same trees, but only two. And also, everything there was kind of recognizable and sortable. So, yeah, I think that that puzzle would be even faster than the Amsterdam. And it also would enable us to switch to only one sorter faster, because it would be so easy to sort that wouldn't have like we don't have to just sit there with Kiara and try to sort almost all the time the most recognizable pieces on the next pile.
Yep.
We can just do the whole sort up front and just start doing things. With Amsterdam, it wasn't that way. It was similar, but at some point we had to shape sort. I think that the Bridgerton would be faster. And I think that would have been below 30, most probably.
Because you guys finished the Amsterdam puzzle in 30:32, which was at that point. So this is round A of teams. At that point, that's the fastest puzzle that had been done by a team in Worlds competition. Coming in, it had been the Czech Puzzle Queens at 34:21. So you guys pretty soundly beat the previous record coming in here. But you're saying that if you would have done the Bridgerton one, you probably would have been sub 30 as well, or sub 30.
And this is my theory.
Mm-hmm.
What about the winter puzzle was harder than you expected it to be?
I would say that puzzle met my expectations, because I was expecting it to not be easy. I identified all of the difficult sections in it, and we talked about it. Okay, difficult section in this would be sky, and also the things on the both sides that are snow. We have to be aware that it's going to, happen at some point. But the easy part is the busy part, and also cutting into the tree and then the go to the sky, so she doesn't have to interact with the busy sections. Like, there are so many things that we were aware of, and it kind of went according to the plan, I think. So we were surprised with how it went.
So you finished the Disney puzzle in, I think it was like 36-ish minutes. If you'd have done the Bridgerton puzzle instead, and it had gone at least as good as the Amsterdam puzzle, and maybe just a little bit faster, you guys would have been sub 1 hour for two 1,000 piece puzzles.
We'll never know. But that would be awesome.
I'm astounded that teams are doing as well as they are in terms of how short a period of time it takes teams to do two 1,000 piece puzzles. But it does feel a certain amount of next level breaking the 1 hour barrier.
It does.
Yeah.
We never did that like in training, so that will be interesting.
Any other things to say about the preliminary round?
Yeah, so we were very ill during the preliminary round. Katy was having a fever and a very bad cough. I didn't have a voice, and I was also having a slight fever. Hannah was okay coming into it, but because of the fan that was blowing into her back, she started losing her voice again. And Kiara was the only one that was normal that day. And she tried to manage the three odd ones.
Yeah, I was going to say she designated cheerleader, but it sounds like maybe she was more than just cheerleading. Just the moral support.
Yeah, she was the moral support, yes, for sure.
What did you think of those two puzzles on the finals when you unveiled them?
We were very happy with them. I mean, I was very happy with the Icelandic one.
Mm-hmm.
The other one, we didn't really look into it. We were like, okay, we are doing the Icelandic one first.
It's a big landscape. It's got a lot of gradients, some color areas of it, but it's nice and, in a way, soothing. And the other puzzle, by contrast, has got, it's an illustration. There's a lot of busy things going on. It's chaotic.
So my first reaction after seeing the two puzzles was, okay, we are going to do great on the Icelandic one because I have done two puzzles like that before. I have done 600 pieces like that in the sky with like the aurora, and I did like the same view but during the day. And I was like, I know this puzzle, I know what the tricks are, and I think I know how to sort it very well. And we decided to go with that one. And also, like, in the same time, we tried to look at the second one because we still had some of the seconds left before we got to start.
Mm-hmm.
Because we had to, open the stickers, right? And so we looked at that one and we're like, okay, that one is going to be very difficult. Let's just toss it to the ground for now and look at it later. When we started the gradient one, it was going very well. Hannah was doing the edge as always. Kathy was given the mountain. And then we just started sorting so many different things. I think Kiara and we sorted the sky into possibly 8 sections. And we're just feeding them to Hannah and Kathy. Then we sorted some of the grass that has a different shade and also a texture. We sorted the waterfalls for Kiara, uh, and she also collected some of the purple water. And at some point, I just started doing the sections that weren't taken by anyone. And I think this is actually the best moment of the whole competition. I sat down because I just stopped starting, right? And I just looked around and I'm like, okay, I have so many different sorted tiles here. Let's just grab the most bright one. And it was the lower section of the Aurora.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like white and pink.
Yep.
And I just took it and without expecting to be able to do it, because I was like, okay, if I cannot, I just give it to Kathy. And most probably I won't be able. So I just, I was like, okay, let's try it and then give it to Kathy. And I just sat down and I was like, okay, this piece goes there, and this goes there, and this goes there. And I did it like the whole thing. And and I told them, like, guys, I can do puzzles. And they started laughing. They were like, okay, like, wow, thank you. We didn't know that. And this atmosphere kind of stayed with us till the very end
Oh,
of
that's
this.
awesome.
Wow, Wiktor can do puzzles today.
We're going to do better because today Wiktor can do some puzzles.
Yeah. And we shape sorted this puzzle at the very end too. That was a very good call by Kiara. And it helped us a lot. We actually swapped a lot of times. And we had this very nice trick. I really liked it. That after we had almost everything done, I was sitting in the lower right corner, whereas I'm always starting the flipping and sorting and everything on the top left.
Mm-hmm.
So at some point, Hannah and we swapped places so that Hannah was at her starting point, so the right bottom section, and I was on the left bottom one. And then after I did some of the pieces in that section, I swapped with Kiara. So Kiara was on her original spot and I was on my original spot before we were done. And we kind of had the setup for the next puzzle before we even finished the first one.
It makes a lot of sense that you guys have a designated seating arrangement before you get started with things. And over the course of doing the puzzle, you may get up and move around and take other parts of the puzzle. So you're saying that the process that you took right going to the end reset you to the exact seating arrangement that you would need to start the next puzzle. That is pretty great.
Yeah, Kiara initiated that. It was her idea to do that. And we were like, okay, this is very smart. Let's do that.
So finished that puzzle, moved on to the next puzzle. Feeling good at that point?
Yes, but also we didn't know what to think about it because we were the first team to finish anything. So we didn't know if the other team were doing the second puzzle maybe, or we actually were so much faster because the thing is we felt so fast on the gradient, like so fast. And it's so funny because we weren't that much faster than the other teams. Uh, and on the second puzzle, we felt kind of slow, and we are faster than the other teams than with the gradient. So coming to the busy puzzle, it was scary on many levels because it had repeating colors all over the place, repeating textures as well, because it had some greenery that wasn't green because it were like leaves and grass that was blue and yellow and like so many different things. And I tried to sort some things. And also, the thing is that Kiara and we are also trying to be the decision makers. So we have to consciously sort things that are going to work for the person that we are giving them to. So that differs between Hannah and Kati, because Kati needs to do blocks of colors and Hannah needs to do pick and place. And only this works. So we had to be aware of that. And also for that puzzle, it was very difficult because if I wanted to give Hannah something to pick and place, she kind of had to work all over the puzzle, and it wasn't ideal. So we kind of had to give very small sections to Hannah and then try to find some of the details that go around it for her to be able to complete it. Kati also said that the sections in the second puzzle weren't that easy because they were, intertwined with the leaves and everything else, and it was very weirdly shaped, even though it was buildings. But we sorted a lot for that puzzle, and I think we had like maybe 10 piles sorted out with different things. And also, I started working at the very end, at the very beginning. I started doing sort for pinks, and I sorted the pinks in 4 different piles, and that was helpful at the very beginning. But the 2 piles of pink that were left were actually very similar to each other, and those were the pink leaves, and they were all over the place. So that was a bad decision to make, but at the same time, it kind of decluttered the main pile. So yeah, it was very difficult to work around this puzzle because the repetition was crazy.
But for a final puzzle in the teams for the worlds, does this feel like the right level of difficulty?
Yes, absolutely. Both of the puzzles were amazingly good for teams final, and also the combination of the two, perfect. I love that.
So as you're progressing through this puzzle, are you getting a better sense of like where you guys might be relative to everybody else?
We didn't. I mean, I wasn't. I didn't because, I tried to not think about it, and also it wasn't an active way of trying. I just didn't think about it.
Sure.
I was very, very focused on trying to do the busy puzzle because I knew that both me and Hannah, we are the busy ones, and I should help to complete it very fast. Also, I was kind of struggling because I wasn't looking at the image that much because of the sorting. So I didn't know it very well going into that. So it was a slow going process for me to learn the image. But I think that was a good call for me to leave the sorting at some point and just do the puzzle with them. And it's not like I left completely because I have this thing that I have to switch between tasks. And I cannot do that in teams because I have to work on one section, right? So for me, the way to be able to switch is between sorting and solving. So when I didn't manage to put some pieces in the puzzle for some time, then I went to sorted something that gave me more information about the puzzle. And, if I see that someone is working around that section, then I can just, give it to them and then go back to the puzzling. And it's like going back and forth. And I really like this approach.
Is that so that, as things slow down in one area, you can just switch over and sort of accelerate into another area? Or?
I mean, I would have need to, switch places with someone to be able to puzzle in different sections of the puzzle.
Yeah.
I don't know. I would still commit to one section because I know I have to do it in teams. But it's just easier for me if I can switch out of it to do the sorting for a couple of minutes and then go back, and I don't have to switch places because of that, because I can reach
Yeah.
to each of the piece on the board, so it's not that bad. And I don't know if the rest of the team felt like how good we are doing. We just wanted to finish it as fast as we can. We didn't really stress about it, or at least nobody verbalized it. I don't know. It didn't really feel like winning worlds.
Is that right? So you guys got to the end and you were first, but you're saying it was not necessarily the big moment that.
I mean, it was a big moment after we realized that we won. Like, we were very happy and emotional. But during the puzzling, we didn't really feel like we are, fighting for the first spot. We were just like doing what we always do.
Uh-huh.
And it was very fun. That there was no stress at all, at least for me.
And then you came across the line. You're getting the last few pieces together. Nobody else has been applauded for. I imagine you guys feel like it's within your grasp. And then you finish and it is. Excitement ensues?
For sure. I think when you look at the live stream, I think I'm the one that is actually jumping with my hands up high. Yeah, that was very special. And we really bonded during that experience and the whole Europeans and French marathon and everything. So that was very nice. Not, I wouldn't say ending point, because if we still can do teams, then we will. But there are some dark clouds above us.
In some ways, this is a natural chapter to this story.
The thing is that after the closing ceremony, and actually during the closing ceremony too, every time you went on the stage to receive the check and the medal and everything, Alfonso would walk up to you and tell you that you need to send him your information about your bank account so that he can transfer the money.
Mm-hmm.
And this is different from every other worlds because it was always cash. And so this time we had to send our information. And so after the closing ceremony, I was talking with Veronica and Anna, and they asked me to go and find out where we should send the information, this kind of stuff. And so I found Alfonso, and I asked him, and he, told me how to do it and everything. And I was kind of expecting to, walk away. But he started talking to me about, he basically said that next year there are going to be no mixed teams and pairs because he wants like a Czech team to win or a Polish team to win.
Sure.
And then I'm just standing there like looking at him like, okay. I just won teams in a mixed team, and he's like, you're not going to be able to do it next year. So I was just internally laughing, but I was just straight face, and I was like, yeah, I think it's up to debate. I think I understand your reasoning. Okay, bye.
Yeah, it is a peculiar timing choice.
Yes.
Because even if you're thinking about that thing, like, I guess I don't know if this was the effect that it had, but I would be like, let's let these people have their moment, right? Like, you did an amazing thing. Like, why would you interject that?
And I'm happy that I'm the one that got to hear that, because I really don't care. Like, I think some other people would be affected by hearing that, like, and have emotional reaction. But I was just, blanking out. I was like, okay, we can keep talking.
Rob and I talked about like this idea of international super teams on the Pre-Worlds podcast.
Yes.
And I'm curious, I wanted to ask Rob, like, what you think about it now, post-World.
Yeah, I don't feel any different about it, I don't think. Like, I think it is a valid way of thinking about things. I think that if Worlds wants to be a country-specific activity, great. It can 100% make that choice. I think that We will lose out on certain exciting things like having a super team that is the best thing that could like seeing the best possible execution on a pairs and teams competition. Like we don't get to see those, and but that's fine. Like I think that that is definitely a choice that can be made, but I don't feel really strongly one way or the other. It's not like the Olympics, where this it's very much intended to be a country thing. But what do you think, EB?
Well, watching Worlds this year with so many people getting sick or being affected by the heat or also having travel complications and not being able to get there, I think it feels unfair to not allow mixed teams
Mm,
because what are you going to do if you have your Polish team and then you lose a member because the airport closes or you lose a member because they're having heat stroke. I guess you could compete as a threesome, but seeing all the challenges this year, it seems like, oh, that was something I hadn't even considered about having it be a good reason to allow mixed teams because of the unexpected things that might happen.
Victor, what do you think?
My perspective is also complicated. And I think this is also a very good sign of the things I said in the individual section, that I thought that people may think wrong things about me knowing the peace cap, right? And this affecting me to some extent.
Mm-hmm.
Because as much as I think that having the team I have is amazing, I also kind of agree that it seems unfair to the actually national teams, that they train together so hard and they are, if we talk about something like the Olympics, right, where you mentioned there are the country specific rules, then it would be awesome to, I kind of agree with Afonso on this point, that it would be fun to see the Czech team win, or Australians to win, or, something like that. But at the same time, we need to remember that the mixed pairs, for example, right? Some of them are just people that are immigrants and they want to be able to pair up with their friends where they live or with their partner or something like that. And they don't have the opportunity. So that is not great. And also, I don't think there is an easy solution to this problem. I don't know how to feel about it. I think, and this is kind of against my own interest, but I think the good way to do it would be to allow mixed person teams based on residency, not citizenship. I wouldn't be able to compete with my team in that case, but I think that would be fair. But also at the same time, I cannot point exactly to why having a mixed team is unfair. Like, but it just feels strange. Like, I cannot explain that.
Yeah, so you would allow, for example, Chiara, who's an Italian living in Germany, to compete on a German team, which would make a lot of sense, right? Because that's who she could practice with. Those are people near her. It will be interesting then to see if this becomes a more formal rule. It will be interesting to see if we're told that it is a rule or it just shows up as a rule in the rules.
And what other rule changes we might see? Any predictions?
About rules, I don't know, but I can expect even higher temperatures next year. We just need to train in a greenhouse this year.
Exactly right. You're gonna need like sweatbands and like everything. EB, do you have thoughts on what rules might come?
I haven't said this yet, but I have to give Alfonso credit for his wily, like, right turn on puzzle choice in the preliminary rounds. I think after last year, where many people were able to successfully predict the prelim puzzles, everyone was surprised in round A this year because it was definitely Oh wait, did I say a right turn? Maybe I meant a left turn, or like a 180. I don't know, some type of big turn. It was unpredictable and wily. And heading into next year, I think it feels a bit like it would even the playing field because you don't know what's coming. Maybe it'll be the 2026 catalog. Maybe it'll be puzzles from this year's Worlds. It was an unpredictable move.
Maybe it will only be puzzles that have been used in the last year in some competition somewhere. Just every puzzle is guaranteed to be from some competition.
And now we get the puzzles from US nationals, finally.
That's right. That's right. Next year at Worlds, it will only be US nationals puzzles.
Maybe like just licensed character images. Yeah, it wasn't a popular choice, but I think it did fix some of the problems that people were complaining about last year.
So, Victor, you had what I feel like was a pretty amazing world. Again, looking back to the Victor who started this journey, granted that the Victor the first few months into starting this journey was like, well, yeah, I can do this, obviously. But I feel like the Victor over the course of the last year, who was like aspiring to do great work, may have been pretty proud of the results that you had this time around.
I feel very great about the results. And I feel particularly great because I know that next time I'll be faster. And that is exciting.
Are you taking some time away? I feel like last year you said absolutely, and that lasted a few days.
Last year it lasted 24 hours. This time I am on a break. The only two puzzles that made me break that break was the speed run I did with the Disney Pixar color palette that I got from Andrea because I just wanted to do it for fun. I unlocked, actually, that is very funny. I unlocked something strange in my head that is kind of described as do it speed puzzling for fun, not for training.
Interesting.
Glad you finally got there.
Yeah, this is so fun. Like, I mean, I always had fun, but I had fun and I was doing the training, and now I can just do speed runs for fun, just for fun, and it doesn't feel like a chore anymore. But it has to be a conscious decision.
Does that mean you're turning off your brain and just going fast?
No. It's just that I am not analyzing what happened and not, over strategizing. I am just trying to see how well can I do on this puzzle, like this challenge, like this is so fun to do, and not to, be bumped up if I don't do well or something like that. And maybe I can say that now because I did so well with the Disney one, but I don't know. We'll see. And the second puzzle was actually from today's competition, in online competition from Australia, provided by Katrina Coleman. It was very fun, but this is the last puzzle I'm going to do in October full speed. At least I hope so.
You said that you know that 2026 Victor is going to be faster than 2025's Victor. What are the kinds of things that next year's Victor will be better at, and how are you going to get there?
I am going to be able to do blocks of colors, and I'm going to be able to just do something that is given to me. So I will eliminate all of the drawbacks I currently have. At least that's the plan. And I am working on it. I'm doing many big format puzzles. I already completed 1/3 of the 13,000 piece by Treble, and it's going great. I do it leisurely, but I'm taking the times to see how long it takes. So yeah, that's fun. And I just try to to learn how to do the blocks of colors by doing the big puzzles as indirect output of just doing them just for fun. So this is my plan to do it for quite some time and then go back to the normal training and trying to see if I can maybe come up with something entirely new that no one has ever done before.
Is there a area that you're thinking of? Like standing on your head or like, I know that you have a lot of like respect and like awe for Kristen 2022 style. Is it like you want to have your own style like that or
No, not like that. I was thinking, and actually, this idea came to my head a year ago, that it would be fun to be able to complete two different sections of a puzzle in the same time, but using left and right hand to have this split focus, to do it
Mhm.
concurrently.
The Da Vinci mode.
Yeah, I tried to do that many times, but it never worked. I tried to compare it to, like pianists who use both of their
Mm.
hands to
Hmm.
do the low notes and the high notes. But at the same time, I think it's different, and I realized that is so much different because I actually need to use vision, and they don't really have to do that.
Hmm.
Right, and they already know what the hand is meant to do in advance, whereas you are having
Yeah.
to figure that out in the moment.
Yeah, especially if I'm doing a new image, right?
Mm.
Well, whatever it is, I am super excited to see it, and I would not be at all surprised if you were the person to bring some new technique that nobody has ever seen before to a world or a national competition. So I am definitely looking forward to that.
I hope so.
Victor, I have told you this a number of times. I feel like that whenever we get to talk, it's a too little space because there's always so much to talk about. And I'm glad that we made space to just talk because, getting into the mind of you, understanding how you get to where you are, I feel like is endlessly fascinating. I appreciate that you are a innovator, a thoughtful human, and a powerhouse out there in the world for us all to aspire to. And I deeply appreciate you taking some time to spend with Evie and myself on talking about how worlds went for you.
And thank you again for inviting me to the podcast again. I really love it here. As you can tell by the 3 hours that we are here for.
Where can people find you? Remind folks of where they can find you.
You can find me on Instagram at victord.puzzler or on YouTube, Wiktor D. Puzzler.
Wiktor Kacprzak, thank you so much.
Thank you, Rob. Thank you, Evie.
You can follow Evie Karen on Instagram at Puzzle for You or Die. Thanks for listening to Peace Talks. You can follow the podcast on Instagram at peace_talks, and you can send email to peacetalkscast@gmail.com.